amazing mom, and that kind of story.
And I would drop anything at any time to whatever I had to do for Olympia. Middle of a Grand Slam final, I would leave if I had to.
And yet, you still show up and do the match. You still show up and do the other thing without people having any sense of what was happening behind.
Like every... I somehow managed to win. Meanwhile, I was, of course, this is the one day I was... Anyway, so she fell next day.
Been winning in a straight set there. Fans were loving that outfit.
Understandably. It was designed to help prevent blood clots in her legs.
So that year, I had Olympia, and that I had a match the next day, and that night, she fell out of her high chair and broke her wrist, and she was on my watch, and I was just basically devastated. Like, I literally couldn't think. I felt so guilty. Anyway, so she fell. We went to the hospital, and she had a small tear or break in her wrist. So she had to get a cast, and we didn't get back to like 4 a.m. Meanwhile, I was, of course, this is the one day I was playing early. I remember holding her the whole night and just like rocking her to sleep, and just like, I just didn't let her out of my sight at that point, because I was already, and I'm hard on myself and I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, but I was so mad at myself for even allowing that to happen. So I think I got like 30 minutes of sleep, and then I had to go play this match, and I'm just thinking, how am I gonna play?
Getting pumped up, by far the best point she's played from the baseline.
I somehow managed to win, but I was so emotionally spent and just like so emotionally drained that it was crazy. And, and then like every night after that, I just was with her the whole time and was like, you're going to be with me. And I just took a lot on, but moms do a lot. Like, I look at my mom, I don't know how she had 5 kids. I don't know, like,
But you are such an amazing mom, and that kind of story.
And I would drop anything at any time to whatever I had to do for Olympia. Middle of a Grand Slam final, I would leave if I had to.
And yet, you still show up and do the match. You still show up and do the other thing without people having any sense of what was happening behind the scenes. And I think what's so key, and for us as women, and just not just women, I think our husbands are really good at this. Other men need to get even better at this as well, is recognizing what people don't see, right? So when you went and played that match the next morning, no one knew what your night had been like the night before. They forgot that human piece of it.
Yeah.
Just like when we went on our tour to South Africa, we landed with Archie. Archie was, 4.5 months old? And the moment we landed, we had to drop him off at this housing unit that they had us staying in. He was going to get ready to go down for his nap. We immediately went to an official engagement in this township called Nyanga. And there was this moment where I'm standing on a tree stump and I'm giving this speech to women and girls, and we finish the engagement. We get in the car and they say, there's been a fire at the residence. What? There's been a fire in the baby's room. What?
Stop.
Oh my God, I can't believe we haven't talked about this.
No.
And so we're in the car. We had just landed at an hour or 2 hours before, racing back. We get back, our amazing nanny, Lauren, who we'd had all the way until in Canada here. Lauren, in floods of tears, she was supposed to put Archie down for his nap. And she just said, you know what? Let me just go and get a snack downstairs. And Lauren's from Zimbabwe, and we loved that she would always tie him on her back with a mud cloth. And her instinct just like, let me just bring him with me before I put him down. In that amount of time that she went downstairs, the heater in the nursery caught on fire. There was no smoke detector. Someone happened to just smell smoke down the hallway, went in, fire extinguished. He was supposed to be sleeping in there. And we came back, and of course, as a mother, you go, oh my God, everyone's in tears, everyone's shaken. And what did we have to do? Go out and do another official engagement. And I said, this doesn't make any sense. Can you just...
How did you not bring him?
I was like, can you just tell people what happened? And so much, I think, optically, the focus ends up being on how it looks instead of how it feels. And part of the humanizing and the breaking through of these labels and these archetypes and these boxes that we're put into is having some understanding on the human moments behind the scenes that people might not